One of the biggest problems that players have is they hit off of their back foot way too much. And I believe this is a direct result of coaches and players thinking that the modern game has to do with hitting a lot of open stance shots. But I'm here today in this lesson to talk about how you can get on your front foot more and avoid that problem of always hitting off your back foot or backing up when you hit the ball. So this is a big problem that I see. I see players standing on the baseline and rallying and hitting off of the back foot. So coming up to the baseline and staying pretty open, hitting off the back foot, leaning back. They're struggling with this shot, or like even trying to short hop the ball, but not really getting on the front foot. So that ball was short enough where I could, but hitting a lot of balls where I'm essentially just going back on my back foot. I see that way too much. And one story that I want to tell you is that when I was on the tour, there were times that I was nervous. I was nervous in most of my matches because I cared, because I wanted to win. And when I got nervous, sometimes I got tentative. And when I was tentative, I found myself hitting a lot of backhands like this and hitting forehands off of my outside leg open stance, more than I should have been. So there was one big key that helped me tremendously, and that was getting on my front foot on every ground stroke. So unless the ball was really wide, I was even moving out to balls out here and getting on my front foot, exaggerating. Wherever the ball was, I would find my front foot. Now, that made me hit the ball flatter compared to hitting off my outside leg, but I needed to have that aggression. I needed to have that single-minded focus that the only goal was to get on the front foot. So if I'm going to practice this, I'm going to start out by shadow stroking where every time I get on the front foot. So I'm going to back up behind the baseline, and I'm going to come out of my split, and I'm going to work on every shot I hit getting on my front foot. So you'll notice again, I move around the ball or I move to the ball and I get on my front foot. I'm not even thinking about open stance. I'm not thinking about any fancy footwork. It's just get on that front foot and hit through the ball. If you picture Jimmy Connors from many years ago, he was always aggressive, getting on his front foot. Now again, this is more old school style tennis, but it works, especially if you're tentative. So if I were to rally now, it would look something like this. Front foot, front foot. Notice my fundamentals, they're solid. Catching the racket, front foot, front foot, front foot. So you can see I'm really focusing, that's my only goal. And that's what I want you to practice. I want you to spend time drilling and playing your points where you get on your front foot. So let's show an example with a student right now. All right, we've got Simon here, and we're going to go through some progressions. He's my student. We're going to take him through shadow stroking on the front foot, rallying, getting on the front foot, baseline points, and then we're going to finish with serving points. So you can see what my focus is on getting on that front foot and being aggressive with your tennis and aggressive with your footwork. So you'll notice that Simon's standing close to the baseline here. This is a common problem that I see with players. I want Simon to back up. Okay, so he's going to back up 3 to 4 feet behind the baseline. Now he's got more time and space to move up to the ball to get on his front foot. So we're going to start him here. He's going to start hitting, actually we're going to have him shadow stroke first. So what I want is, I want Simon to start moving forward up to hitting the ball and stepping in. So let me see how that's going to look. Good. And then he's back a little bit, split, backhand. Okay, we can go backhand here. Good. Back, forehand. Awesome. That's it. Way to square up. Backhand. Good. Now I'll just point and go. Point, and he goes. Good. So every time he's getting on the front foot, and that's just a little exercise that he can practice, that you can practice every day to be aggressive with the footwork. Now we're going to work on rallying. So the ball's going to come to him. He's going to work on getting on his front foot on every ground stroke. Here we go. He's on his front foot. Notice if he has time, he backs up a little bit, then he comes forward. He backs up, he resets, he comes forward into the ball. This up and back movement is what we're looking for with your tennis game. Okay, we want you on the front foot. Excellent. So now, if the ball comes wide, feed him a wide, really wide ball. If the ball comes wide, he can still get on that front foot, or he can still hit open stance on the wide one. Go wide again. So that's an open stance. Now the next one, front foot. Good. Back to the front foot now. There you go. So it doesn't mean that you're always going to hit front foot 100% of the time. It just means the focus has to be there. Okay, let's go ahead and play a baseline point now. So you've done your shadow strokes. You've rallied, focusing on getting on your front foot. Now you can start playing baseline points. And so you can tell your partner, or you don't have to. You can play a game to 7, you can play a game to 11, and you can just focus on moving around the court with the goal of at least 80% or 90% of your ground strokes being on your front foot. Good. Way to go, Simon. Front foot. So play the point out, guys. Everything's on the front foot. That's all he's thinking about. You'll notice, look at his footwork, how aggressive he is. See, he had to go open stance there. That's okay. But now he's back on his front foot again. Stop. So if you watch that point closely and you paid particular attention to Simon's footwork, his only goal was to get on that front foot. And that's what I want you to focus on. So when you're playing those baseline points, you can play games to 7 or 11 or 21 and just focus on getting on your front foot on 80 or 90% of your shots. Now let's go ahead and play a point, a service point. I'm going to have Simon come over here to return. And what he's going to do is he doesn't need to worry about getting on his front foot on his return. But as soon as the point starts, unless he's dealing with a really wide ball, once again, his only goal is getting on the front foot. We're not focusing on anything else, nothing else that would complicate things. It's just front foot on every single shot. So let's go ahead and play a point now. Now, once the point starts, he's on his front foot. Good. This level of aggressiveness with the footwork. Let's play another point. Repeat. This level of aggressiveness is what's going to get you playing better right away with this single-minded focus. He returns. Now it's front foot on everything. Go again. Even if the point ends, we just start again. This is real time. Good. Front foot. Excellent. Front foot. Good. Excellent. Notice how he's staying aggressive. He's getting on that front foot. He's moving up to the baseline, and he's ripping. Nice going. Front foot again. Excellent. So in that progression with Simon, we started him out by noticing that if we started with the shadow strokes, we could develop those great habits by getting on the front foot. And then we had him rally, focusing on getting on that front foot. And we built from there. We went to baseline points, and then we went to serve points. So if you can practice that progression on a consistent basis, you're going to notice a big difference, not only in your footwork, but your level of aggression and your confidence when you're playing tennis.